Alright, hey guys, keeping it real going on. Sorry it's taken a few weeks for me to get a video put together out here in the garage gym at the Hacienda. I just got a couple things, so like some stuff that I've been dealing with this week. It's been kind of odd. Like I shared a meme on Facebook, and I was actually wanting to show you guys the meme so I could kind of elaborate on the flack I was getting from it. So like, you can see, it's a really basic, almost kind of funny meme. It's got like a little skinny guy says, your immune system on face masks, disinfectants, and vaccines, and it's really dweeby, nerdy looking kind of individual. And underneath that, it's got what looks like to be, a fitness athlete of some type. And it says your immune system on clean diet, regular exercise, adequate sleep, vitamins, and regular exposure to germs. And as a former medical care provider, I got a lot of flack over that. People were giving me down the road about vaccines and how I don't care about anybody but myself and all this other crap. And I was like, I wanted some explanation. So I listened, I read their comments back, and I could tear their arguments apart, but I don't really feel like wasting my time on typing with my thumbs. So let's just kind of take this from the top. Everything that we're dealing with right now in our society is based on personal accountability. I've been saying we were going to have an episode on personal accountability, so we're going to dive down a couple of rabbit holes with that. All right, so let's talk about vaccines. Do we think that there should be vaccines that are readily available for people who choose to have them? Absolutely. There are tons of diseases that have been virtually eradicated from the United States, polio, tuberculosis, things like that, maimed and killed and drastically reduced the quality of life of tens of thousands, if not millions of people throughout the years, especially as long as the United States have been around. And it's awesome that we have vaccines that are available to save people from those. Now, when it comes to rudimentary viruses, vaccines aren't necessary. I mean, I think it's great that we have them. If you're one of those people that wants to go get your flu vaccine every year, if you're one of those people that wants to go stand in line for the new corona vaccine, that's 100% up to you, and I completely support your decision. However, now I personally kicked COVID's ass in about 3 days. It wasn't that difficult at all. The only weird part was I couldn't taste or smell for about a day and a half. It was very, very strange. But other than that, it really wasn't that big a deal. Now, with that being said, I'm not sitting here saying, because I got called out for this too, that we just should care about just ourselves and move on. Well, I'm like, one, that's not accurate. You're taking things out of context by in a large margin. We should absolutely, as I've said in multiple videos and multiple talks that I've gave here lately, we should absolutely be trying to take care of our family members and individuals in our community that are immunocompromised, that are elderly, that are have things that are beyond their realm of control. And again, if you are being your social justice warrior coming at me, when was the last time you went and picked up groceries for your grandparents? Right? When was the last time you took Mama and Papa to church so that they didn't have to drive or be around crowds or something? The reality is like people run their mouths, but they don't do anything to support what they're saying, or what their beliefs are. Another perfect example that I give to people like this is, stop pretending that all lives are equal in your sight, because they're not. I told this lady was giving me down the road over the exact same stuff, and I was like, when was the last time you went to the funeral of somebody you didn't know? She's like, well, I'm in the healthcare industry. I've got patients, and I go to their funeral. I was like, no, you knew them. That was your freaking job, right? I'm talking, was the last time you opened up the Sunday obituary section, cracked the page open, and just picked out the first name of somebody you had absolutely no connection with whatsoever, and just started crying your eyes out because you care that much about society. You don't. You're a liar if you do. I'm sorry, but you don't. Now, while I can sit here and say I empathize with people that I care about, if one of the members at my gym, for example, came in and was like, God, my best friend just passed away, man. I'm so torn. I'm absolutely going to empathize with my friend. I'm going to care deeply that they're hurting. Ask them if there's anything I could do for them. Do you want somebody to talk to? You want to go have a beer? Like whatever your social environment calls for, based upon who you are and the people you hang out with. That's great. But that doesn't mean I gave a crap about this individual's best friend. If I've never met them, they have no intrinsic value to me as an individual whatsoever, and they don't to you either. All right, I'll give you a perfect example. If you're one of those people arguing with me right now, when have you cried for Tracy Sellers, have you cried for Tracy Sellers out of Tulsa, Oklahoma? No? I didn't think so. Did you even know she existed before I pulled it up from my notes? No. And what's funny? If you're sitting here saying, oh, well, yeah, it didn't matter. I feel horrible for him. Guess what? There's no name on my paper. I just made that up. So you're once again full of crap. Anyway, getting away from my personal beliefs. And then, oh man, this is like, at the end of the day, the bottom line is we are all, on an individual basis, responsible for self. I don't feel any more sorry for a lifelong smoker getting lung cancer as I do somebody who's lived a crap life, never taken care of themselves, and could potentially pass away from COVID. All right? I didn't put you, and nobody else put you in that situation. It is not society's responsibility to take care of you. You're grown-ass people. Be a grown-ass people. Like, this is absolutely beyond my thought process. And then, further, I don't think you really understand what you're asking when you want to say stuff like, well, society should just help me. Okay, awesome. Let's start talking about crap we need to make illegal then. I propose right this moment that we completely outlaw all tobacco products across the United States because they're basically the #1 killer in the U.S. right now. And we need to take that right away from people to be able to use their tobacco. Oh, now people are going to start losing their minds, right? Well, that's my choice. Well, I'm telling you that for society, that would be the biggest pinnacle of the American health history. Getting rid of tobacco products. No more. No mas. Not allowed. Right? Well, that's going to put dozens of farmers out of business, and that's going to send people into withdrawals and yada yada. Well, nobody seemed to care for COVID, and it's killed way less people than tobacco. Ruined way less lives than tobacco. Y'all ever seen what somebody looks like for a couple of years while they're dying of lung cancer? Or got their jaw half ripped off from chewing tobacco for 40 years? Or have bladder cancer and got a prostate gland the size of a melon? That sucks. And most of those people, by the time they get there, it's too little too late. But anyway, back to my original point. Government control, bad. The more you say, government, tell me how to live, the less choice you get to make in any aspect of your life. Now, with that being said, I'm not advocating for anarchy, because I had somebody else pull this one out. I'm not advocating for anarchy. Previous discussions again, I've said several times, any reasonably civilized society must have reasonable rules to adhere to. So that way, like I said a few weeks ago on my last podcast, we all agree that molesting children is bad, raping people is bad, robbing people, murdering, driving 100 miles an hour in a 45. These are all exceptionally bad and potentially very dangerous things for not just yourself, but others as well. That's why we have reasonable rules in place so that we can have a governed, fair, and equal society. Right? When you say, government, give me more legislation, then you are taking away your freedom, and that is not the America I believe in. I'm sorry. I think if you don't want to have vaccines, you should be able to say, I don't want to have vaccines. If you want to have all the vaccines, I 100% think you should be able to say, I want to have all the vaccines. Load me up. I'm terrified. I want taken care of. By all means, do that. But keep your mouth shut when it comes to the rest of the world, or rest of society. You have no business or bearing on telling anybody anything how to do with their life unless it affects you directly. All right. Next thing out of your mouth is going to go, well, that's why we're all supposed to wear a mask. Trust me, I've had all these questions. That's why we're supposed to wear masks, right? So that you're not negatively affected. WHO's already covered that, guys. Minimally symptomatic. They did it months ago, like 2.5 months ago. The WHO completely recanted their statement and said that minimally symptomatic or asymptomatic persons very rarely, if ever, spread the virus. So once again, we're back to the original concept of what quarantine was meant to be. Quarantining the sick. If you have symptoms, by all means, be an intelligent, responsible human being and don't go around people. Don't cause problems. Don't not wear your mask, stuff like that. If you are not sick, you have no business pretending to be like you're sick or having your life governed as though you are sick. I'm sorry, especially not for a virus like this. Like, I was just on the CDC's website a few minutes ago. It's still less than like 8,000 people that's actually died as a result of just the virus. And honestly, if you could pull their medical records, I'd say a large portion of them are compromised. Now, so let's talk about people who are, it's way outside of their control, right? You were born immunocompromised. You came from a mother that had AIDS and not contraceptive, the prophylaxis that women can take during pregnancy didn't work. Therefore, now you've grown up with AIDS. There are lots and lots of different scenarios like that. 100%, they should be helped out and taken care of. I completely agree. I don't take anything away from anybody. I think that our society, honestly, has done a great job of that. You don't even have to go shopping in Walmart anymore. You can plug your little grocery list in on your phone, and most of the convenience stores will bring them right out. You don't even have to go around people. And I think that that's awesome. Again, but you have no business demanding everybody else completely alter their life to benefit you. The truth be told, I don't give a shit about your life. You don't give a shit about mine. I mean, that's outrageous to think that you have 7.2 billion people constantly on your mind and that your heart's throbbing for them. You will die from stress. There's no possible way the human brain has that level of compassion. That's not the same thing as empathy. We can empathize with people. But again, you only empathize with people because you care about them. So trying to paint this whole I'm more virtuous than you, so I get to call you names and tell you how wrong you are and how you don't give a crap about anybody but yourself and all this stuff. That's just garbage. You're trading in logic for fallacy, right? You're saying what you want to say so that it fits your narrative. Logic does not get debased by fallacy. Doesn't happen. That's all. Those are those only 5 points I wanted to cover for this week. Sorry, I'm still having a hard time getting a co-host. I had several people lined up. I wanted to get a law enforcement officer in here to talk about personal accountability and things that he deals with on that spectrum because, let's just be real. Criminals never did it. We have a victim mentality for our society. It's always somebody else's fault. It's always somebody else did something to me, so therefore I have turned out to be XYZ. That's garbage. You, only you, the person you look at in the mirror, are responsible for what you do. Period. End of story. You're not responsible for anybody else. You don't gotta go to hell for anybody else. You don't gotta go to heaven for anybody else. That's it. You are responsible for you. I can't make that any more plain. Alright, hope you guys have a good one. Later.